Hey everybody, welcome to Friday Quickie Techniques and Tips. I'm Dina Rico and I'm so excited to be stamping with you because I always am excited to stamp with you guys. And I have an amazing project to share with you today. This is sort of based loosely, well, it's kind of a continuation of a project I did on my Facebook Live this past week. If you missed it, you can check it out on my blog. It's actually, I think 2 posts before this one. So if you aren't watching this directly from my blog, I've got a link to my Facebook Live in the description of this video, as well as a link to the projects that I'm going to show you today so that you can see all the details in the photos and the dimensions for everything. And I'm really excited about this because it's so much fun to play with this technique, and I think you're going to enjoy it too. So I'm going to start with some watercolor paper, and actually I have cut a whole bunch of pieces, and I love doing this because it kind of lets you play a little bit more without having to stop and cut. And so I did all the watercoloring, then all of these cards that I have, and actually I have a whole bunch more, I did quite a few, all of those pieces I put together into cards later, and so it really went smoothly in terms of getting the most stamping for your time. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of protective paper down, and I want to show you the first card is this one, and you can see it's got a little shimmer on it. This could not be easier. So I got, if you didn't see my Facebook Live, I'll just give you a quick brief overview of what I did. I was making the cards from the Soft Sayings card kit, and they have these beautiful pre-printed cards that have this gorgeous watercolor on them. And I thought to myself, I could totally make these flowers and watercolor them myself so I can make more cards like this. And I can, of course, change up the colors and do more things. So what I did was I made a similar card to this, and then I kind of continued that into some more cards. But I was not done yet with that technique. I was not ready to give it up yet. So I went ahead and made some more projects. And so that's what these are. To start with, you want, besides the watercolor paper, of course, you want to have an aqua painter. I have several aqua painters. I use them in classes, so sometimes they get a little beaten up. This one looks a little bit more fine tipped. I like having a couple fine tipped ones just because then it allows me to get real detailed with what I'm doing. And actually aqua painters come in a 2-pack, and one is a little bit more fine detail than the other. All right, next I'm going to just sit down in my watercoloring chair here. And what I'm going to do is create a color palette. So here I've got Night of Navy, Bermuda Bay, Berry Burst, Peekaboo Peach, and then a little Lucky Limeade. And you might wonder where I got that color palette from. And basically, it is this new set of papers here that I'm using. I changed it up just a little bit, but this is the Naturally Eclectic papers, and I really love this. Okay, I haven't even used them yet, but I'm so excited. But look at this paper here. That's usually pretty much these colors. A little, like I said, a little differences, but oh, I'm excited about that paper. Okay, now to make my card, I'm going to squeeze the lid of the ink pad to each one of my inks. And that gives me color in the lid that I can then use to color on my watercolor paper. And I kind of stuck with generally the same color scheme for all of these cards. There's a few differences here and there, but they're generally the same color combo, which is actually kind of helpful. Now you can also put drops of re-inker in your ink pads, but if you're not doing a lot of watercoloring, I don't recommend that because they can kind of drip out if your pads get tipped over to the sides, you know. I have some experience in this area, so I'm just telling you. Okay, now I know it already makes you nervous that I've got all these ink pads open on my table, but it's okay, don't worry, we'll be fine. All right, so I'm going to start with my Peekaboo Peach, and I'm just going to draw some circles on here. And it's okay if I leave little bits of white on them because it actually, I think, looks good. Okay, and I'll just kind of leave it like that. All right, I'm going to switch colors, and whenever I watercolor, I like to have a little rag sitting next to me that I can clean my brush off on. Otherwise my paper gets just covered in color. Okay, now I'm going to bring in my next color, which is Berry Burst, and I'll just add some larger and smaller circles on here. And again, I'm leaving some white. See those little white areas? I like to leave those there. And you can add a little darker color on here just to kind of change it up a little bit. So I'll do a couple more of these like so. All right. Then I'll switch to my next color, which is going to be Night of Navy. And since I'm done with these two, I'll cover them up before bad things happen. Okay, and I love Night of Navy. It's a really beautiful, rich color. And I'm kind of alternating so that the same size circles aren't, you know, like there aren't big ones up here and small ones down here. I'm kind of alternating them a little bit. Okay. And, oh, I probably should do one more. Bermuda Bay is my next color. And you want to be careful not to touch the edges because they can run, the colors can run and kind of melt in between to one another, which in this case we don't want that to happen. Okay. And then as they dry a little bit, sometimes I like to add a little extra color in there, and that just kind of makes them look a little bit more realistic flowers with different shading on them. Okay, now I want to let this dry completely. Okay, we're going to come back and finish this, but I really want all these circles to dry completely so that I can do my little flowers that you see on here in Luscious Lime. Or Lemon Lime Twist. Oh my gosh. We used to have a color called Luscious Lime years and years ago. I'm talking like 15 years ago. And I keep forgetting. Okay. Now that I've done this, again, I'm going to set this aside, let it dry for a few minutes. I want to show you another idea that I came up with kind of all at the same time again. So here I'm going to use 3 colors. Again, I've got my Berry Burst, my Bermuda Bay, and then I'm also going to use Peekaboo Peach, okay, for this. So I'll move this stuff a little bit. This is super simple. Maybe I should have started with this one because I think this card actually came first. But I'm going to do, again, the same kind of coloring, leaving that white space open, adding a little bit more color so it's nice and dark. Okay. Then next I'll clean my brush off and pick up some Berry Burst. Put this up here. And I'm just creating some flowers. And again, it's okay if I'm leaving some of the white spots. I just like the look of it. Clean my brush. It really does help to have that rag. And then I'll do one more flower down here. And I think these are adorable, but I'm going to turn them into flowers with stems, okay? One thing I wanted to do, though, before I got too far, was I wanted to I wanted to stamp a sentiment on here so that I didn't run out of room, because when I was making these, I did kind of run out of room on some of them. For this, I did the sentiments after the fact, and it was getting tricky to squeeze some of them in sometimes. So I'll stamp the sentiment in black. And this sentiment I love. It's from the new Ribbon of Courage stamp set, which I believe I have over here. Yep, I'll show it to you. So I love the set, and the words in it are fantastic. I've been using the words a lot. So, and I just got this set, so I like it. So I'll just stamp that right down here. Sending love and hugs to you. Is that not perfect? Oh my gosh. Okay, so again, we're going to let this dry for a minute. We're going to do another one. We're going to change this up ever so slightly for this card. And again, I'm going to start with Pool Party ink. So I'm changing my color palette just slightly. for this one. So I've got Pool Party ink. Oops, I just got my finger stuck in some ink. That's what happens when you have all these ink pads open. I think I got it. I'm always kind of covered in ink. It's an occupational hazard. Okay, now for this, I'm going to do kind of a cup shape flower, I guess. Like that. Okay. And then I'll do another cup shaped flower in my Berry Burst. Like so. And then I'm going to do one more up here. It's a little bigger. Okay, so there are my 3 flowers. Again, really simple. And I think that's good. Oh, I've got one more I gotta do. One more. You're gonna get 4 cards on this. I know this is gonna be a long video, but for 4 cards, I think it's worth it. Okay, last one. Similar yet different. We're gonna start with a Bermuda Bay circle, kind of big. Get some more of that color on there. Clean it off. We're going to do a little bit of, this is Peekaboo Peach, but I'm going to change it up. And I'm going to add in a little bit of Berry Burst to kind of give it a little bit of extra color in there. And then last but not least, I'm going to do Night of Navy up here. And that's light. I want it a little richer, so I'm going to, there we go, add some more color. Navy is a really interesting color to play with. I like it a lot. Okay. And then to round it out, I'm going to add some Lemon Lime Twist. I do love this color. Okay, so we're going to add some smaller circles of Lemon Lime Twist. So there's one. Here's another one. There's one more. And then I can even add some little dots to just kind of fill things in just a little bit, like so. Okay? So that kind of creates a little bit of a bouquet. Now, let's go back because I think some of our other ones are dried out and we can do the details on them. All right, so I'm going to cover up these ink pads because I believe, well, actually I do need my Lemon Lime Twist, so I'll leave that one open, but I think the rest I can close. And that way I don't have to worry about them. Okay, now what I'm going to do with this is I have some, these are journaling markers that I'm going to create. So let's come back to the very first one we did, which is this one. And I'm just going to use, there's a thicker point and a thinner point. So I want the thicker of the two. And I'm just going to draw in a swirl on here on a few of these flowers like that, just to kind of jazz them up like so. Okay, then, and you want to make sure everything's totally dry before you do that. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just draw in some leaves, and this takes a little bit of practice. I'm not gonna lie, it's not hard, but I find that as I go, my leaves look better because I'm kind of practicing and playing with them a little bit more. On the bigger flowers, you want larger leaves. And again, it's okay to leave some white space in those leaves, just like we left white space in the flowers themselves. And you can go off the page, that's okay. Do that a little more there. And so I'm just going to kind of add a couple little leaves all over the place. You can see some of them are really pretty simple and basic, and some of them are a little bit more leafy shaped, I guess, for lack of a better term. Okay, and there we go. I think that's, well, I'll do a few more. And it just is nice to add some greenery in here. And again, they don't have to be perfect. Just sort of fill things in like so. Make these a little bigger. Okay, I think that's pretty good. So again, I want these to dry, and then on just the ones that I put the swirls on, I'm going to go ahead and actually draw in the little leafy pattern on them. Otherwise, I'll let that be. Okay, so I'll set this aside. So we're kind of doing all of these in conjunction with one another. Okay, then the next one I did was this one, I believe. So I will take that larger pen and I'm going to draw the stems just coming down like so. Okay, and then I can add a little leaf on here. And by the way, to figure out how to draw the leaves and all the little things I'm drawing on here, I actually went to Pinterest and Googled, what did I Google, or searched doodle flowers. And that's how I came up with the ideas for this. So I'm just going to draw little circles in the center of this one. You can see I drew in the swirl on this one up here. Then I'll just draw in these little hash marks, and these are the ideas I got off of Pinterest, was how to draw this in. Now sometimes we have floral images that will work to stamp over the top in black. Actually, the swirl idea I got from the Swirly Bird stamp set. Okay, so I'm just going to draw a circle, and notice it doesn't need to be perfect at all. In fact, it almost looks better if it's not. And then I just colored in the center with lines. That's it. Now here is what the finished card looks like. And all that I did was layer it up on some cardstock. So again, the photos for all of these will be in my blog post. So check that out. Now this one, I really liked this one. This one is real simple. I'm going to trace with that real fine line marker. Oh no. I've had these markers for a while. There we go. I think we're good. All right. I'm impressed with these markers. I've had them for quite a while. So now I'm just loosely sketching little tulips on here. So you can see I'm kind of doing a circle at the top and then drawing a line. Now the next thing I'm going to do is draw some little dots. And then I'll do some more dots down here. Change up where they are a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to connect these dots. You'll see in just a second. It'll make sense. Okay, I'm going to kind of have like a dot at the bottom, because I'm also going to draw little lines down from that dot, like so. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect all of these dots to form little stamen on my flowers. Isn't this super fun? And you can see this takes very little skill because I'm doing it. I'm laughing because my daughter is in the other room cutting ribbon for my ribbon shares. And I think she piled up all the empty ribbon roll spools, and now they all just fell down. So that kind of makes me giggle a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to stamp hello, and I love this. I just got the stamp set. This is Hello Friend, and I love the hello, and I also really like this texture. So I'm going to stamp the hello on here. Like so. And then this card is finished up, and I want to point out I also embossed this with the new wood plank embossing folder. I can't think of the name. Here's the back side. Can you see that? Isn't that cool? Really fun texture. Okay, now likewise, here is this one. So when I drew in all the lines, this is what I got. And I don't have a sentiment on here, so I need to add a sentiment. But isn't that fun? So check out my blog and you'll see that one finished up. And then let's come back to our original. This one, again, I'm going to draw in the lines on the swirls, the swirl flowers over the petals, okay? And there we go. And one more. Oh, isn't that fun? Now for the sentiment on this one, I am using, oh, I hope it's still here. Yep, it is. This is a great new stamp set. In fact, let me pull it out so you can see. It's called Special Celebrations, and this is an innie and an outie stamp set, which is one of my favorites. So there's the happy birthday here, and this is actually a two box set. I've combined them into one, you know, so that we can get them all into one. So the happy birthday, and then the coordinating set for the inside says, hope your day brings just what it should, happiness, health, and everything good. So I love that there's innie and outies. And so I'm going to go ahead and stamp the innie, or I'm sorry, the outie on the outside right up here. And then, of course, all of these are just kind of screaming some Winkostella, right? I mean, they just are. So let's go ahead and put some on. And I think Winkostella is fun with watercoloring, but I will tell you it does not like the journaling pens as much. It will run with them, so be a little careful when you're going over. And then I'm just adding some little shimmer to each one of these, and I just love that look. It's so fun. And then when you layer it up on a card, this is what it looks like. So really, really cute. So again, check all these out on my blog. If you are a VIP member, I have some more projects for you with the same kind of technique. So make sure you check that out on our VIP Facebook page. If you are not a VIP, all that you have to do to become one is place an order through the Creativity Cave, and you too can be a VIP, and there's all kinds of great perks. Thank you guys so much, and have an awesome day. We'll see you soon. Bye.